What's up, everybody? Matt Modi here to give you my favorite NFL player prop picks. We're talking Thursday Night Football, Week 14. Awesome game. Packers versus Lions. I'm going to have two NFL player prop picks for you guys to lock in for this beautiful Thursday Night Football game. Very excited about this game. Very confident in the two picks that I have. Of course, both picks are plus money bangers. Of course, that's just how we got to do things here. Before we can get into that, I do want to do a recap from Week 13, which was a pretty nice bounce back week for us. Weeks 11 and weeks 12 were just absolutely brutal, terrible weeks. Week 13 wasn't amazing, but we did have a nice week in the green. We were up about 3 units overall last week. We had a good day on Thanksgiving, and on Friday after Thanksgiving, we had a not so great Sunday, and then we had an awesome Monday Night Football, cashing out both of those plays. All in all, gets us over 3 units on the week. All in all, gets us about just under 23 units of profit on the entire season, up about a little above 17% ROI as well. You know, we were in like the 30% ROI mark, and then two just absolutely brutal weeks 11 and 12 kind of killed that. But 17% ROI, I'm still very happy with. 23 units of profit, just under that, still very happy with. So let's hope we can continue, have a nice stretch run at the end of the season. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get into these bangers. So play number 1. I'm taking Sam LaPorta over 3.5 receptions plus 144 odds. This one is best offered at FanDuel. This one, definitely going to feel gross. You know, LaPorta did us dirty. Last week, we had LaPorta, I think 30 plus or 40 plus receiving yards. He only had 6. Not really close. But I actually really like this play for a lot of reasons. So it's been a while since I've said this, but we're going to go ahead and call this one our Pepto play of the day. For those of you that are new to my channel, Pepto play of the day just means that the play itself feels pretty gross. So you're just going to want to take a shot of Pepto with that bad boy. Ease the stomach a little bit. It's going to feel a little bit queasy. Pepto is a godsend at this day and age. But there are a lot of reasons why I think this can be a good reception game for Sam LaPorta. We need him to get to 4 in this one. To get the negative out of the way first, LaPorta's only hit 4 or more receptions twice this season, and he's only done it once in the last 5 games. So if you are a hit rate type of person, you're not going to like this play. I myself am generally not a hit rate type of person, and there are a lot of reasons to believe that some positive regression is coming for Sam LaPorta. Again, he's only had 4 or more receptions in one of his last 5 games. He's had 6 or more targets in 4 of his last 5 games. Only getting 4 receptions once while getting 6 targets 4 times is crazy. With those target numbers, it's just unlikely for him to continue to catch so few balls, especially when you consider the historic completion rate that Jared Goff has been on. I mean, you've all seen the stats. Jared Goff set a record. Most passes in a row without an incompletion. Most passes in a game without an incompletion. Overall, Jared Goff completes over 70% of his passes. He's got the second best completion rate in the entire NFL. Only Tua has a higher completion rate than Jared Goff. And you look at someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amazing player. Not taking anything away from Amon-Ra. His catch rate's over 80%. And LaPorta in his last 5 games, his catch rate is only 63%. And if you look at his last 3 games alone, his catch rate is only 50%. And it's honestly kind of crazy. His last 3 games, literally 3 straight games, he's had exactly 3 receptions on exactly 6 targets, a 50% completion rate in the last 3 games. That is just unlikely to continue for a tight end as good as Sam LaPorta, for a quarterback as good as Jared Goff, as accurate as Jared Goff. Now, I get that Sam LaPorta, his role is a little bit different. He's not a receptions guy like some of these tight ends, but he's not like his ADOT is anything crazy. It's not like a DK Metcalf type of ADOT. So that completion rate should normalize over the course of the next couple games, hopefully in this one. And this is a great matchup against the Packers. You know, we targeted a tight end against the Packers last week, Jonnu Smith. We had him over 4.5 receptions. He ended the game with 10. We could have doubled it and still cashed out. On the entire season, the Packers, they're tied with 3 other teams with allowing the 4th most receptions per game to tight ends. They're allowing an average of 6 on the entire season. You look at the numbers recently since week 8, that number has jumped up to over 6.5 receptions per game allowed to tight ends. Again, that number is still the 4th most in the NFL. Now, LaPorta did go under this number the first time these two teams played this season, but he did cash it in both games last year. And again, I get that his role is different from last year, so take that with a grain of salt. But just looking at his target numbers, he's going to have a game this week, next week, whatever, where he catches 6 of 6 targets. That's something that he has done earlier this year. That's something that I think is going to be set up for him. Hopefully it does happen in this game, but regardless, I just like this one as a buy low positive regression spot on Sam LaPorta receptions. Next up, obviously the same game here. Jordan Love, 275 plus passing yards, plus 170 odds at DraftKings. So the hit rate guys, they're not going to like this one either. This one is also going to feel gross if you look at his hit rate on the season. Jordan Love's only hit 275 plus passing yards. He's only done that once this year. It's been a weird season overall with Jordan Love where he got hurt in week 1 and then he came back and was still kind of making his way back from the injury. Then he got hurt again in the middle of a game, hurt his groin, and kind of was hit or miss the following week. There has also been 2 games where he came very close but didn't do it. So really it should have been, he has done this in like 3 of 10 games, which is still not a great hit rate, but at least it's better than in 1 of 10. And there was a game against the Lions, his first game after the groin injury he suffered, where he threw for 273 yards. Did not quite get to 275. Obviously came very, very close. And in that same game, Josh Jacobs ran all over the Lions. He ran for 95 yards. That's the most a running back has run for against the Lions this entire season. A couple have gotten to 90, so it's not the most by far, but it is the most. And not that many running backs have even got to 90 against the Lions. The Lions' run defense has been very good. So him, like Josh Jacobs, running all over the Lions, it's not something that you see happen to this Lions defense very often. And it's not something that you would really want to rely on happening game over game. Generally, the Lions are a pass funnel type of team that you cannot run on, but that you can pass on. Now, their passing defense has not been as bad this year as they were last year, but they've suffered a ton of injuries that has impacted them more in the passing game than anything. And last week, Caleb Williams, he lit the Lions up in the second half of last week, and that was kind of when they suffered some injuries, happened in game last week. So I'm expecting Jordan Love to have a good game in this one, and I'm also expecting the Packers to not have nearly as much success running the ball. Even with the injuries, the run defense is still good, and the Lions are a type of team, like their run defense is so good and their offense is so good that teams just constantly need to pass on them, and they've generally had success doing so. The Lions have seen the fewest, literally the fewest, rushing attempts per year, on the year. They've seen the fewest rushing attempts per game on the year. They have allowed the 4th fewest rushing yards per game. They've got the 4th highest stuff rate in the NFL, and they've allowed the 5th fewest yards after contact as well. They're relatively middle of the pack in terms of their yards before contact, but they have a high stuff rate, and they do a good job rallying to the ball when they do make contact. That said, the Lions have allowed literally the most receiving yards, specifically to wide receivers, in the entire NFL, on the most receptions as well. Literally number 1 in receiving yards allowed and receptions to wide receivers. Now, common logic would dictate, okay, why not take a wide receiver? Why take the quarterback? I never know what type of game it's going to be for which receiver for the Packers. It could be a Christian Watson game, could be Dontavian Wicks, could be Jaden Reed. Romeo Doubs was out last week with a concussion. We'll see if he comes back. I think he did return to practice on Sunday, so he's going to be questionable. We'll see if he plays. But it just feels like playing Russian roulette with the Packers receivers. But I am very, very confident that Jordan Love is going to have a good game against the Lions. Last week he passed for 274 passing yards, and that was a game in which they just blew out the Miami Dolphins. They were winning by a ton. Josh Jacobs scored like 3 touchdowns in that game. They're going to need a pass in this game against the Lions. I think they're going to have success doing so. I love getting him to 275 plus passing yards, especially at the juicy plus money price at plus 170. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then the last thing I'll mention is the last thing I mention at the end of every video is that I do have a Dub Club where I send all my plays out. It's only $5 a month. $5 gets you everything that I'm playing across all sports. So right now we're talking football and basketball. Really hot in the NBA as well. So let's hope that we can continue that. But the way it works is the plays you see me give out for free on YouTube and Twitter, those are the same plays that you get on the Dub Club. The only difference being the Dub Club gets them early. So like you're watching this video now, the odds might be different. Unfortunately, I can't help it if odds change over the time that this video is live. That's why I have the Dub Club. So as soon as I decide what a play is, the very first thing I do is send it out to Dup Club with a screenshot of my bet slip so you can see that I'm actually betting it with the unit size, with the actual odds that I'm giving out. But if you're not interested in that, no problem. You can still get everything for free on YouTube and on Twitter. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.